I talked about the role that we have to play. We cannot shy away from this role. This role of a doctor who professes to the eye of the community to be a Muslim. And I put down the current issues, past issues, ongoing issues, medical issues. Yeah, classify, you need to remember. Okay. So, current issues. You know this thing about last night and body snatching, where people die, and then suddenly the people from Masjid Agama here, they want to rush the body for Muslim last night and then bury them. And all of us, yeah, my brother in Islam must be buried as a Muslim. But have you thought about it? If you shy to live as a Muslim in life, you should be shy to be buried as a Muslim in death. Who is the witness of profession of the pillars of faith? The pillars of Islam. A name, a certificate from Majlis Agama. I have problems. I'm not telling you I'm right. But I tell you I have a big problem with snatching a body once the person is dead and very few people know he's a Muslim and then you want to bury him as a Muslim. God is all fair. If he really is a Muslim, in the context that God decides. Remember God said in the Quran, he said that God will forgive whom he chooses to. And fire may not be hot for everybody. Abraham was thrown into fire and it wasn't hot for him because God said fire be cool. So, it's not for us. In the last minute, to snatch a body, to decide that only the last rite of burying as a Muslim would then dictate everything else for the person. I have problems. You have problems? I don't know. But I'm not going to follow and eat what other people say because I think it's an injustice to what Islam stands for. It's a grave injustice for Islam. We offend the grieving, we portray Islam in the wrong light, and like I said, if you're shy to proclaim Islam in life, and in them, there's big problems. We're not living at the time when Prophet was just spreading the missionary work of Islam and was instructed by God for 13 years to do it low-key. We're not in that age. Yeah? We've got to live in cosmopolitan Malaysia. And I keep saying this when politics comes into Islamic statehood. Think of the Prophet Muhammad and Medina. How did the non-Muslims feel in Medina? If they had to seek justice, did they go to their own court of law? Or did they go to a court of law, controlled, judged, and discharged by the Muslim government? It was run by the court of law, run and judged by the Muslim government. And in the Hadith, it's represented in that court of law. Because the worry is not about answering in the court of law here. The worry is that if an injustice, there is another court of law where you do not have to put forward human proven arguable evidence. And enough for me is God as a witness. It's already. It's so caught up in these complexities and rules and regulations of court of law and the loopholes. I go to court with evidence often, medical legal reasons, not being sued of course. It hasn't come to that stage. Maybe when I'm closer to 70 than to 60 in my mistake. And I cannot help myself but see the irony, that this is supposed to be a court of justice and people are playing with words and playing with what they can prove and what they cannot prove, when it just should be about truth and forget all the rest of the mampu jambo. And you can show it. But that's too idealistic. It won't happen in this world. You can do away with policemen if that happens. So we've got to portray and reflect Islam in the correct way as we live it in Malaysia without being unfair to our religion. And we can only be fair to our religion if we know enough about it. It won't come for free, it won't drop from the sky. Just because I was born with Abdul Gafoor doesn't mean I will know the pillars of faith. It doesn't work that way. And then of course we've got this local interfaith thing, and we've got these reformist Muslims, and I've got a very strong view. I want to know about Judaism. One of my best friends registrars in Glasgow was David Sandler, and he wears the Star of David here. And his hope is to go back to Israel. land of his forefathers. But he would be the first to cover for me when I'm going off for Friday prayers. He'd be the first to let me go early when I want to go off for breakfast. There was no hatred. And he's a Jew who wants to go back to Israel. So when I started reading about Judaism, there was one day we've got authors of Judaism, of Orthodox Judaism, and of Reform Judaism. And they try to get this in Islam. I'm an Orthodox Muslim, and I find myself unwittingly following this. When I go overseas and say, my diet is Muslim, I'm Orthodox Muslim. Abdul. Shouldn't have to say that. I'm Muslim, full stop. Because there's nothing else other than Muslim. So this Mambo Jambo about reform Islam and interfaith about certain things, equip yourself with adequate knowledge to make sure the wrong message doesn't go. But I'll also tell you about how interfaith is good because it means you've got the internet with soft tools, not with the soft. And then there's this international issues currently that we have to address. And we've got to address that with hikmah. Hikmah meaning knowledge, wisdom and gentleness. And some of them are recurring issues of the past. The Danish cartoon theme is almost like the satanic verses. Danish cartoons, a man draws many cartoons, have you looked at it in the internet? Yeah, it's quite insulting, offending. You can claim that we should have better humor than that. But I'm telling you, my family couldn't understand it till I give them an example. Go read the English law on treason. What do they do when somebody is guilty of treason to king or country? Death. So if English law on treason is unjust, then the law on treason to the Prophet and Islam is unjust. I'm not saying that we have to punish people by death, but I'm trying to say, if you can argue it that way, how come you can accept treason is punishable by death? That's only king one. To me, Prophet is bigger than king. That's the concept. Now, I'm not saying that we should come up with fatwas of murder, no. But I'm trying to get people to understand this disparity in their values. Anytime I make fun of, poke fun of the Holocaust, that's anti-Semitic. That's insensitive. Let's all ostracize anti-Semite. That's what the whole Western world does. But it's alright, you can have cartoons that offend and insult Muhammad. It's not anti-Semitic. It's only anti-Muhammad. After all, that fundamentalist Orthodox is so law to bomb people up. But this is the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to fire you to say, fatwa murder. But we've got to get people to use the same ruler to measure everything. Yeah? And you've got to be able to discuss it with hikmah. Not getting emotional and angry and then personal. We all know about Islamophobia, fundamentalism, but let me alert you to apologists. Apologists are people who study Islam and then go about apologizing for our stance. But Islam is very nice and correct, but they have to cover themselves up, and it's not wrong. After all, it's being very modest. Islam is good and fine. It's not ascetic, but during the past Iman, they don't have to eat. You must understand it better. I don't think we need somebody to apologize for us. It is my faith. I believe it's a rule upon me, demanded upon me, and hence I believe it. How come nobody makes fun of the nuns when they cover themselves up? I go to Little Sisters and I find them the most pleasurable company to be with. The most soft-hearted, kind people in Penang Island, Little Sisters of the world. Nobody makes fun of it, right? Nobody talks about the inappropriate, that's it. And nobody says it's not right. So we've got issues that we've got to equip ourselves with adequately, use examples that the secular mind can see and then argue with, like the intellect,